Alright, this is part 2, and the primary gist of this will be Eli, but there were a few things I couldn't include on the other video. So, I talked about the ocean imagery, the dead ocean imagery on page 181, and kind of hinted that that might be some foreshadowing for when they do make it to the ocean. Then on 189, the man and the boy, after they're done walking, they, settle in for the night, and page 189 in the middle. One night the boy awoke from a dream and would not tell him what it was. You don't have to tell me, the man said. It's all right. I'm scared. It's all right. No, it's not. It's just a dream. I'm really scared. I know. The boy turned away. The man held him. Listen to me, he said. What? When your dreams are of some world that never was, or of some world that never will be, and you are happy again, then you will have given up. Do you understand? And you can't give up. I won't let you. Okay, so the man is saying here that, like, as long as the boy, not that he can't ever dream of something, I mean, not like literally dream, but not that he can't think of other things, but when the boy starts dreaming, especially at night, and those dreams are of, all the things that he wishes life could be, or, all, if he's dreaming about things that would be, perfect and not the actual real situation he's in, then, and those things make him happy, then the man says that's when the boy will have given up. And it makes sense. I mean, again, not saying, excuse me, not saying that the boy has to give up on, thinking about good things or trying to be happy, but the man just doesn't want him getting lost in a fantasy. All right? Because keeping your dreams and your reality separate is what kind of makes people live in their reality. Yeah, it would be nice if I could have like $1 billion and, buy a mansion out in the desert and have an infinity swimming pool. All right. But as long as I'm still living in the reality of, that is not my life. I live in Mosinee, Wisconsin. I have my work here, everything, all that, then, and as long as I can be happy with those things, then I'm doing fine. All right. But if I start dreaming over that $1 billion lifestyle and I'm, every time I wake up, I'm so depressed in my own life because it's not what I want it to be and all I want is that fantasy, then that means you've kind of given up on the life you have. And the man does not want that for the boy. I mean, this world sucks, but it is the reality. And when people sort of get into that mindset where they're rejecting their own reality, I mean, it's kind of like the mind over matter, sickness and health type of thing, where, if you believe you can heal, if you believe that you can be better, if you believe that you can survive in this reality, then you can. All right. The woman, way, way back in the first section, she didn't believe it. She didn't believe she could survive in this world. She wasn't happy with the life that she is now, that she had then been given, and she was living in that fantasy of wanting to go back to the way things were, and she wound up killing herself. And so the man is really adamant that the boy doesn't sort of think about those things. And then finally, as far as smaller things go, on page 190, the very next page, we finally get a better sense of maybe what happened. Not that we get an actual description of it, but I mean, in the circumstances or in the description that Cormac McCarthy's pulling on page 190 and 191, it eliminates some of the possibilities for what could have happened in this apocalyptic thing. So they're walking again, and in the middle of page 190 it says, beyond a crossroads in that wilderness, they began to come upon the possessions of travelers abandoned in the road years ago. Boxes and bags, everything melted and black. Old plastic suitcases curled shapeless in the heat. Here and there an imprint of things wrested out of the tar by scavengers. A mile on, and they began to come upon the dead, figures half mired in the blacktop, clutching themselves, mouths howling. He put his hand on the boy's shoulder. "Take my hand," he said. "I don't think you should see this." "What you put in your head is there forever?" "Yes." "It's okay, Papa." "It's okay. They're already there. I don't want you to look. They'll still be there." He stopped and leaned on the cart. He looked down the road and he looked at the boy, so strangely untroubled. "Why don't we just go on?" the boy said. "Yes, okay." "They were trying to get away, weren't they, Papa?" "Yes, they were." "Why didn't they leave the road?" "They couldn't. Everything was on fire." They picked their way among the mummied figures, the black skin stretched upon the bones, and their faces split and shrunken on their skulls, like victims of some ghastly vacuuming, passing them in silence down the silent corridor through the drifting ash where they struggled forever in the road's cold coagulate. They passed through the site of a roadside hamlet burned to nothing, some metal storage tanks, a few standing flues of blackened brick. There were gray slag pools of melted glass in the ditches, and the raw light wires lay in rusting skeins for miles along the edge of the roadway. He was coughing every step of it. He saw the boy watching him. He was what the boy thought about. Well, should be. All right. So that passage gave a sense of what did happen in this world. And you kind of have to take a look at the things that are, burned or wrecked in there to kind of understand what it would take. So, I mean, whatever fire it wasn't so completely devastating in that area as to immediately evaporate things. So it's not like there was a nuclear bomb that fell right exactly on that spot, because everything would just be decimated. But metal and brick were standing there charred and black, but the road itself, the tar, the black top, was so melted that people got stuck in it. They couldn't escape the road because everything was on fire. The power lines and the phone lines were just laying, the metal on it were laying in the ditch because all of the poles got melted down. So it was a pretty spectacular devastation. All right. Maybe it was a very severe sort of wildfire. It's not like California where everything is like super dry tree and basically a tinderbox. They are on more of the East Coast, so you'd think, the forest there would be more temperate and wet. So maybe it's something that's more maybe man-made than just a normal forest fire, but you never know. I mean, whatever it was, it definitely swept through quickly, because one minute people were on the road, the next minute they had nowhere to go because there was fire everywhere. All right. So the next thing that we're going to talk about is the old man Eli. And he is the only person that the man and the boy interact with on the road. I mean, they're always kind of trying to dodge the blood cults, and they're always trying to, they see like the old man who was struck by lightning, and they don't really do anything with him. But they do talk to Eli. And also he's kind of unique because even though it isn't his real name, he is the only character with a name. So some people, and you can definitely look this up more in detail on your own, but some people have taken that the man gives the name Eli as kind of a parallel to the prophet Eli or the prophet Elijah from the book of Samuel. Both are old, both kind of walk in hobbles, and they speak in riddles. But Eli's kind of like the opposite of God's prophet. I mean, the prophets in the Bible, they're like, oh, God is coming, you must prepare for the end times. Well, now the end times have come, and this Eli is saying God doesn't exist, um, death won't be a thing because there'll be nothing left to die because the world is just going to end. And so, I mean, God, um, God doesn't exist because how could he? Because all this stuff happened. So I'm going to turn to page. Well, in the beginning pages, like from about 162, 161 until about 167, the man and the boy are trying to decide what to do with Eli. The boy, of course, wants to help him, give him some food, and the man, finally, he breaks down. He's like, okay, we can give him like one can of food. He wouldn't even give him a spoon, but he gave him a can of, I don't know, I think it was like tuna. Um, yeah, gave him a can of food. And then, the man says that Eli can sit down with them, have a little bit of food with them, but then he has to get out of there. And then on page 166 to 167, the man starts talking with Eli kind of on their own. And Eli nodded and reached out with his cane and tapped tentatively at the road. Man says, how old are you? I'm 90. No, you're not. Okay. Is that what you tell people? What people? Any people. I guess so. So they won't hurt you? Yes. Does that work? No. What's in your pack? Nothing. You can look. I know I can look. What's in there? Nothing. Just some stuff. Nothing to eat. No. What's your name? Eli. Eli what? What's wrong with Eli? Nothing. Let's go. Alright, so very clipped, suspicious conversation between the man and Eli. And we're kind of seeing, and from a passage that's coming up, Eli lies. Alright. So again, kind of like an anti-prophet. Alright, most prophets come swaggering in and they're like, I speak truth, especially the truth of the Lord. And the man's like, how old are you? Are you 90? Or, how old are you? I'm 90. Are you really 90? No. Do you tell people that you're 90 so they won't hurt you? Yeah. Does that work? No. Alright, so, I mean, kind of a lesson in contradictions here. And then again on 168, the man and Eli are talking with each other, and the man, where the dialogue starts, says, you can't go with us, the man said. He nodded. How long have you been on the road? I was always on the road. You can't stay in one place. How do you live? I just keep going. I knew this was coming. You knew it was coming. Yeah, this, or something like it. I always believed in it. Did you try to get ready for it? No. What would you do? I don't know. People were always getting ready for tomorrow. I didn't believe in that. Tomorrow wasn't getting ready for them. Didn't even know they were there. I guess not. Even if you knew what to do, you wouldn't know what to do. You wouldn't know if you wanted to do it or not. Suppose you were the last one left. Suppose you did that to yourself. Do you wish you would die? No, but I might wish I had died. When you're alive, you've always got that ahead of you. Or you might wish you'd never been born. Well, beggars can't be choosers. You think that would be asking too much. What's done is done. Anyway, it's foolish to ask for luxuries in times like these. I guess so. And Eli, still speaking, nobody wants to be here, and nobody wants to leave. He lifted his head and looked across the fire at the boy. Then he looked at the man. The man could see small eyes watching him in the firelight. God knows what those eyes saw. He got up to pile more wood on the fire, and he raked the coals back from the dead leaves. So the red sparks rose in a shudder and died in the blackness overhead. The old man drank the last of the coffee and set the bowl before him and leaned toward the heat with his hands out. The man watched him. How would you know if you were the last man on earth? He said.